graduated from college, did my senior showcase, had two regional theater jobs lined up. Then I ended up in the Finger Lakes in Auburn, New York before I moved to New York City. Then started working regionally from Jupiter, Florida to White River Junction, Vermont to Aspen, Colorado to then my first national tour to then being back in New York City. And then I was all over the country, a variety of regional theaters, from being back in Florida to back in Vermont to Sacramento to back to Florida to a little bit of Texas to then teaching with Black Rock Theater up in Fairfield, Connecticut, where I really kicked off teaching with tap classes and musical theater classes and dance classes and working with kids on college prep to then heading back out on the road to a little more Florida to sometime in being in California and in San Diego and then back to Aspen. And then I hit the road traveling the country with my second first national tour with Hello Dolly, which then brought us into the pandemic, which sadly ended our tour slightly short, which brought me back home to New York City, shifting to a virtual world, focusing on teaching and education and my work with the Connecticut High School Musical Theater Awards, the Stephen Sondheim Awards, which sends kids to the Jimmy Awards, and then slowly starting to perform again, making my way back out to Theater Aspen, getting to be one of the first casts up and running and doing a full musical after we were coming out of the pandemic, to then getting engaged and getting married, and then diving on into my third first national tour, Mrs. Doubtfire, to traveling the country for 15 months. Right around when I got married is when I kicked off my time working with BVC ASPIRE and working with our students prepping to go to college for musical theater. So while traveling the country, coaching and working with students, getting them prepped and ready to go to college, all while I was getting prepped and ready to do Mrs. Doubtfire at night, and then back home to New York City and diving on in to work with Aspire, work with Broadway vocal coach, and then being the assistant choreographer for the second national tour of Mrs. Doubtfire, and now working with our students as they get their pre-screens ready to go and ready to roll. And what's next performance-wise? I don't know, but we shall see.